Hey guys, it's Kwana back again with another Her Real review. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing awesome. So, gonna recap for you The Handmaid's Tale Season 4, Episode 3, entitled The Crossing. Guys, this will probably go down in history for me anyway as my shortest recap. So I lied, and this video is long, but it's good. So keep watching anyway, please. Thank you. Favor before we get started and hit the subscribe button so that you can stay posted for all of my weekly Handmaid's Tale recaps every Wednesday. I will be dropping a new recap as we go through the next 10 episodes of the season. This episode was entitled The Crossing, but it should have been entitled The Torture episode because that is basically what we are being given in this episode. It's not quite on the level of trauma porn, but it gets dangerously close. So, spoiler alert for all of The Handmaid's Tale, because this is where we are now with season 4, episode 3. And so I'm going to mention things that have happened previously and enter at your own risk. Okay, so where we left off, Commander Blaine, aka Nick, aka Baby Daddy, shows up and captures June. I still, going back to my last episode, I still don't, I want to like Nick. He's so adorable, and yet he is still playing the game, and I know that he is probably trying to do these things so that he can stay in the know, but we still don't know anything about, except for that one flashback of him trying to get jobs back in, like, I don't even know about season 1 or season 2. That's all we know about Nick. We don't know anything new about Nick. We don't know why he's still in this. We don't know if he's an eye. Is he working for the resistance? What is he doing? We don't know. All we know is he captures June and he turns her over to the Gileadians or whatever and Aunt Lydia, and she gets tortured. Oh my gosh. They run this girl through waterboarding, pulling her fingernails out, being psychologically tortured, being put in a box. They give her the gamut of everything you could possibly do to a person while trying to maintain their ability to reproduce. And that's basically what they're trying to do. And over in Canada, the Canadians find out, and poor Luke is just sitting over there not knowing what to do. Does he pray? This is what she wanted. She stayed behind. She knew this could happen. What do they do? The lady at the consulate says, my grandmama told me, go plant a green persimmon in the yard for luck. Moira's like, we're going to go light some candles in the town square. And just Luke is just like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to hold this little baby that's not even my baby. And can we just pause for a moment and talk about Luke taking care of June's baby? I mean, you know, we talk sometimes about folks, men especially, getting praised for doing the bare minimum, but let's just be honest. Okay, he is raising another man's child over in Canada. Can we give a moment of applause for Mr. Luke Bancole? Okay, over in Gilead, these people are crazy, and they not only, okay, this is where we get into major spoilers, guys. They torture the heck out of June. Then when she still is like being strong mama, holding it down, they bring Cora and the other little handmaid, other little Martha, who I forgot her name, Sienna or Sierra, whatever her name was, and they put them on the ledge of the building and push them off. And I was looking forward. I kept wondering, where is Cora? Because remember, guys, we met Cora way back in season 1. She was working as a Martha over at Jezebel's. And then for her to show up at Commander Lawrence's house and them to reconnect that way. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler from the book. In the first book, in chapter 1, Cora and Rita are both Marthas working at the Waterford house together. So June knows Cora and Rita at the exact same time. Because remember, June doesn't even meet Cora in season 1. She doesn't meet Cora until Cora shows up. in Gilead. She's over in Jezebel's. So Rita and Cora were both Marthas together. And in the book, Rita does not like June, and Cora is kind of nice to June and takes care of her. And they kind of initially meld them together into one Martha, into developing Rita's personality. But then Cora shows up as an actual character. And so what they did in this particular episode that I especially like is they tie in some of those things that they didn't directly take literally from the book, but they kind of altered it and they kind of bring it in. I'm going to talk more about that in just a second. But they push Cora off the edge of the building, and then just when June kind of maybe is going to cave, they push Sienna off the building too. And oh my gosh, I was sad. I almost cried. And it's been a while since the show has made me cry because I've gotten so desensitized to the violence, which I feel like is actually intentional and why it's even somewhat lessened at this point. But I felt like it was almost like their Game of Thrones Missandei moment a little bit. Right? So she's ready to go ahead and confess, and they end up taking Hannah. You knew it was coming. You knew what they're going to leave that baby girl alone, and they got her mama, and they need her mama to say where the other handmaids are. So you knew that was coming. They put little Hannah in a little glass cell, and she's playing with a little black doll baby in there, having her a good old time. And then she turns around and she sees her mama, and she screams and runs into the corner and hides. Y'all, I was like, oh my gosh, right here in the corner of this eye right here is where my tear gathered. Because as a mom, that is like one of your worst fears, is that like your children will forget you or not know you or just whatever. And that's basically what they've done. And we're seeing the same thing that little boy Asher was going through in Canada. That's what Hannah is going through, because also she's also been privy to all of this, destruction of Gilead. Because remember, they killed her Martha in season 3 for telling June where she was and putting her in danger. So she has had people taken from her life over June's actions. So she already felt like, you didn't come for me. You didn't find me. Now I'm over here. Now I'm having nightmares. Now I got my Martha taking care of me. Now my Martha is dead and gone. Now you got me in this glass cell. And I'm not afraid of them. I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of what you can do. And that really breaks June and makes June say, okay, you know what? I can't risk you doing anything worse. I'm going to tell you where the other Marthas are. And I think this is where, when I was talking about the arc in season 3, where I think that they have done enough work, because I don't know about you, I actually was not upset with June for making that choice, because at the end of the day, those other Marthas made grown decisions to help June on her journey in saving the children. And her child is a complete innocent in this world. Yes, the other handmaids are too, but her daughter is a complete innocent. She's a child. So I understand that point. And maybe because I am a mom, I felt for June in that moment. I understood, like, I'm going to tell you where they are. And plus, it's also the hope of, if I tell, there's still hope for them to live. I don't know, there's hope for them to live anyway. So she gives up the location. They basically say, oh, we're not going to, she finds out from Aunt Lydia, oh, we're not going to get rid of you. We're not going to kill you. Because she's like, I'm ready to die. She's like, oh no, we're not going to kill you. We're going to send you to the fields where we keep the handmaids, who are basically like a breeding field, where you're going to be slaves. You're going to toil in the field, but then whenever somebody needs to knock up a handmaid, they're going to come and they're going to be with you, and they're going to rape you and impregnate you and do the ceremony there while you're working. And then you're going to continue to work while you're pregnant, and then they'll come and collect the baby. So you don't get the dignity of being in the house, which I guess in one sense is almost better, because you're being attuned to, living with your tormentor, living with your rapist. So I guess in that sense it's better, but we're going to work you like a slave, basically, is what they tell her, even while you are being raped and then impregnated. So they're going all the way back. Okay. Ultimately, next thing you know, we see she is back in her handmaiden garments and whatnot, and she's riding along, being taken from one destination to the next, and we see her do a little reunion with Nick. I am still major side-eyeing Nick because we just don't know where Nick stands at this point. They kiss and whatever, and it was cute for 2 seconds, but I just still don't know what to believe with Nick. I don't know what we're supposed to think. Is he fighting for the resistance or not? Ultimately, we see her back in the Handmaid mobile with the other handmaids. Alma is looking at you like, you son of a okay. Janine is still giving her I'm still your friend, I love you look. Brianna is looking at her like, cross me one time, I'm gonna cut you. And there's Aunt Lydia, and I'm like, y'all could take Aunt Lydia, she is frail. Well, the Guardian gets stopped by a train. They get stopped at a crossing. I thought the crossing was referring to the bridge where she and Nick met up, right? I thought that was the crossing. Oh, no. The crossing is the railroad crossing. The guard gets out to relieve himself, and June is looking at Aunt Lydia. June is looking at Alma. Alma is looking at June. They all looking at each other like, we could take her. And then they hop out the van to make a run for it. She pushes Aunt Lydia down. This is the part where June always messes up. You got too much heart, boo. You over here feeling for Aunt Lydia, and she should have took that taser and tased the heck out of Aunt Lydia before she ran, but she didn't. I would have got my just desserts in. They take off running. They can hurry up and they can run and they can beat this train. Well, they're running. But before they can get to the train, boom, 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 the Guardian lets off a shot and kills one of the handmaids. Okay, they're running. June and Janine are at the front of the line. They get to the railroad. They cross over. Boom. There go the train. The train hits Alma and Brianna. Oh my word. And I like Alma so much. That hurt my heart. I was not ready for Alma to die. But I mean, I guess they felt like they had to kill somebody because they hadn't really killed too many key players in a moment. And how was it going to work with these same, handmaids and so many people traveling together like that? So now we just back to June and Janine. They killed. I couldn't believe that. I mean, we didn't get to know Brianna like that, so I'm sorry. But Alma, that was really the first person that, other than Emily, that she kind of was like, it was Alma, Emily, and Janine, walking the laps together. That kind of hurt. That kind of hurt right here in my heart. Janine and June make it across the train, and they're just running. And that was the end of the episode. And I was not ready. We didn't find out anything new about Serena Joy being pregnant, anything new about any of that. That was where it ended. That's what they gave us. So, I mean, my thoughts are June and Janine are going to make it to freedom, or at least, enough to where they can meet up with someone else from Mayday and get some disguises, because we do have the trailer with a lot of scenes with June and Janine running, fighting, that kind of thing. How you leave with all those handmaids and Janine is your second in command, because Janine don't be always right there with it. So that's going to be kind of nerve-wracking, because she going to say some things or do some things that's going to get them side-eyed big time. We got to find out what's going on with Serena Joy and her being pregnant. And was that intentional? I have not done any research to find out if the actress playing her is really pregnant in real life or something. Because that was a shocker, from last week's, or the second episode. So I don't know. Look, I said this recap was going to be short. It ended up being long. I had a lot of more thoughts than I thought. So I am on the edge of my seat waiting for next Wednesday. Now we got a whole 7 days to wait until the next episode. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, y'all. I should have paced myself and spread this out and watched one episode today, another episode on Friday, another episode on Sunday or Monday. But here we are, episode 3, The Crossing. It was a good episode. I was shocked. I thought I don't know what I thought, but it wasn't what we got. But I was shocked. It was a good episode. So let me know down below in the comments what surprised you in the episode. R.I.P. to Alma. R.I.P. to Brianna. R.I.P. to the other handmaids whose names I don't know. Oh, quick fast before we go. What did the show end with? Ended up with voiceover of June, and the voiceover that she's giving actually comes from the book, from chapter 1, the last paragraph or so from the book, where she talks about them sleeping in the gymnasium, and then how they learned how to read lips and talk silently, and how to still make connections, how they would touch each other because it was the only touch they were used to, or that they had been deprived of touch, and so they would touch each other's hands and things like that, and then they said each other's names. And I liked how they set that up, because when you read it in the book, there's not a lot of insight into like the other handmaids. They fleshed out a lot of the characters to have their own lives in the story. So like, for example, Moira, we don't really know anything about Moira and June's relationship in real life before Gilead in the book, but they've created a backstory for them for the show. And so it's cute because the way that they had it sequenced, it wasn't Moira telling her name to June, because June obviously knew Moira before. That's her child's goddaughter, that's her best friend, but they have them in a row, and they're looking at each other and they're saying each other's name. That was such a sweet moment to end after such a visceral ending. It was a sweet moment to have that, like, that lasting memory of like that sisterhood that they managed to build together. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling and talking about episode 3, The Crossing. What did you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Are you excited for episode 4? Are you going to continue to watch this season? Do you feel like it's meeting your expectations up to this point, or are you disappointed a little bit? Let me know down below in the comments. We'll talk about it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Toodles!